Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 8, Diet and Nutrition. Today, we're going to be talking about what a good plate looks like for diet and nutrition, and importance of exercise, and what that looks like. Most of you probably have a good understanding of diet and nutrition. So hopefully, I will not be spending too much time on this section. All right, diet and nutrition. Why is nutrition good for the body? One cannot think well, love well, sleep well if one has not dined well. Virginia Woolf. Um, I will send you the link to this video of how the food you eat affects your brain. You might be able to just look it up using the name and the name of the YouTube video author. It is a great video. This video really made me think about the foods that I was putting into my body and what I eat. And so I'm hoping it will also give you guys the same desired effect. So write down on a piece of paper your favorite meal for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Um, how do you feel about the meals? Oh, so this is something we would do in class is pass our meals on to another person and see what they would think of that. So the major point of this slide is that we should be cooking foods for the people we serve that they would like. Um, However, sometimes we have to help them learn to make changes in maybe portion control or the kinds of foods they're eating, depending on like if the doctor says they should be on a 2,000 calorie diet. We cannot just force somebody to eat 1,000 or 2,000 calorie diet. However, we can get a prescription. And so that way, when we're working with the people we serve, we can highly suggest it and help them to make better choices in food so that they have a better diet. And and we can support them with words like, well, you know, we went and saw your doctor and they want you to eat a healthy diet that's under 2,000 calories. They even wrote a prescription. How do you think that we could work on that? What's one thing that we want to add or take out of your diet this week to help support that idea? So the in your book, it'll tell you there's a page, chapter 74 in the toolkit on portion size savvy. It does not have the answers in there. And honestly, when I filled it out, I had no idea what was what. So I wanted to give you the right answers right away, so that you knew, and also to be amazed at like how different the sizes are in portion size is versus maybe what we think a portion size is. Uh, so I think sometimes like our brains can skew what that might look like. And I think these comparison objects are a really good way to visualize how much or how little we should be eating of something. ChooseMyPlate.gov. If you go to ChooseMyPlate.gov, there's a lot of information on there about nutrition and what your plate can look like. So for people just eating a regular 2,000 calorie diet, eating protein like lean meat, chicken, turkey, low sodium ham because does have a lot of sodium in it. So I encourage people to eat lower sodium ham um, because of the amount of sodium that is generally in that. Fish like salmon or tilapia or cod. It has good oils in it. And then there's vegetables. Three-fourths of your plate is vegetables, or two-thirds, and then one one third fruits. And then for grains, whole grains, um, quinoa, beans, legumes, and then there's dairy. And non-fat is preferred, but 1% is also pretty decent. Um, So, how many servings of each food group are recommended in a day? Well, it can depend on the day, on the age, on the gender, and amount of physical activity. Look in your curriculum toolkit and take a look at the food group options for a 1,600, 2,000 calorie recommendation. And then here's the link to choose my plate. I'm going to skip this in reflection. So, fill out your 1 day meal plan. If there are some food groups missing or there are too many in one or more food group, what changes could you make in that day? Could you or would you choose to substitute low fat or fat free dairy options? And what about fats and oils? Did you incorporate nuts and seeds or legumes? Read the information in the fact sheet section of the curriculum toolkit for this chapter. What would you need to know about different food groups to make adjustments for people who have health concerns like diabetes or high blood pressure? Now that you've learned about portion size and food nutrition basics, on your blank My Plate, page 76 in your toolkit, write out a healthy portion size meal. Then on the plate below, write out a healthy portion size meal for someone who experiences diabetes. So if you think of your favorite foods, does it involve bread, sugar, dairy? Imagine if you were told you were never able to eat these foods again, how would you feel? Um, what are some creative ideas for helping individuals with diabetes be both healthy and still have some of their favorite foods? How would you empower the person to make choices around the food they eat? So instead of using sugar to make brownies or cupcakes or chocolate chip cookies, maybe you could use stevia as a substitute. Um, and what about instead of using flour, you used almond flour? There's a lot of variety. Instead of using white rice, you can use quinoa, which is actually a really, really good substitute. So, empty calories. What is an empty calorie? Well, you're looking at it. There are such foods. They are mainly foods and drinks that have high sugar, fat, or alcohol content. Regular consumption of these foods heightens the risk of cardiovascular, lifestyle, and hormonal disorders, apart from obvious weight gain and bloating. Eat low fat cheese instead of full fat varieties Try plain yogurt with fruit instead of sweetened yogurt. Grab no added sugar cereal versus sweetened kinds. Sip plain water instead of sugary sodas and fruit drinks. And one of the things I did for someone I worked with was added the sugar-free drink flavorings. It helped them to drink water much more often, and they were more likely to do it knowing that they had some kind of flavor to add. Munch on high fiber popcorn instead of cookies. Grab dehydrated vegetables and crunchy beans or dried seaweed instead of potato chips. What are the benefits of water? Healthy skin. It aids in digestion, prevents dehydration, improves energy, removes toxins and waste from the body. What are the symptoms of dehydration? Increased thirst, concentration, and um, lack of concentration, and dark urine, dry mouth, eyes stop making tears, sweating may stop, muscle cramps, nausea, and vomiting, heart palpitations, and lightheadedness, especially when standing. Also, one other thing, I had a person I was working with who would get dehydrated really quickly. And one of the things you can notice about a person who is dehydrated is that their face gets gray and there's very little like skin redness or color to their skin. It is just this gray. And also, they end up with very dark circles under their eyes. So, that is another thing to consider. So, for a normal 2000 calorie diet, it is recommended that you only have 2,300 milligrams of sodium, which seems high, but that is for an average person. For someone who has high blood pressure, though, 1,500 milligrams is the recommended. How many milligrams? Oh, I did that one. What if you're a person who has diabetes or kidney disease or high blood pressure? Okay, the answer is 1,500 milligrams. Read the label. How do you know how much sodium is in packaged food? In your home, go to your cupboard or refrigerator and look on the back of a food item for the nutrition facts. Um, so in this nutrition fact, fat is 12 grams. 3 of them are saturated, 3 trans fat. So saturated fat is a fat that our body will absorb and take into our body. Trans fat is a fat that doesn't get absorbed, but it's not good for us either. And it can end up going right through us. Um, Cholesterol, 30 milligrams. Sodium, 470 milligrams for one serving. Um, Carbohydrates, 31 milligrams. That's pretty high. Sugars, 5 grams. You want to try to keep sugar below 5, but 5 is okay for one serving. Protein, 5 grams. And then these are the percentage of A, C, calcium, and iron vitamins. Who has a food high in protein? What if I'm trying to cut back on sodium? Which products should I avoid? Which food could I have that is low sugar in sugar? Are there any good choices for someone who has diabetes? How many servings are shown? What is the measurement of the serving size and the visual comparison? I would be prepared to talk about these things during our check-in. And that way we have a little bit of something to discuss. Uh, Ingredients are listed in the order of quantity. First ingredient is the highest percentage of the product. A simple tip for choosing nutrient-rich foods is to look for fewer ingredients. A potato versus box scalloped potatoes, or pre-packaged instant oatmeal versus old-fashioned oats. What is the value in interpreting labels? Well, I'll know my calories I'm eating. I will be more aware of serving sizes per container, help people make healthier choices when shopping. I'll learn which foods are more nutritious versus empty calories. Symptoms of poor nutrition are osteoporosis, high blood pressure, liver problems, obesity, weak immune system, fatigue, dizziness, muscle weakness, poor wound healing, and type 2 diabetes. What do I just do if I observe symptoms of concern related to poor nutrition or dehydration? Contact the supervisor and the person's doctor. Document per agency policy. Talk to the person about better food choices or a different food plan. Consult professional nutritionist or dietitian. Look for community resources or groups for healthy eating, cooking, and shopping, which is a good way for the people we serve to have some integration. Here, I just want to ask, what are some challenges when taking a person you support to the grocery store? Do they grab candy in the checkout line? Do they open bread and eat it in the aisles? What about people with autism who like to go through the store in a particular pattern or routine? Make sure that you're planning to prepare to go to the grocery store for a good length of time. If you plan ahead and let the person you know that let the person you're supporting know you're going there for your specific grocery list, and you have them plan it before you go. If you know that they are going to want to grab a candy bar, my suggestion is to have that in your grocery shopping plan so that on the last thing that they pick out, and it says specifically one candy bar from the line. That way, when you go to the line and you get there and they decide which one they want, we're not providing them with negative support and either making them put it back or having to leave the store. We're giving them a high five and saying, "Oh, great job. I'm picking only one item for your grocery cart. Good job." We want to reinforce that behavior. And then maybe we'll get to a point where instead of getting candy, they'll get something like um, uh, beef jerky or something like that, which is a little healthier. Um, but be prepared before you go to this store. When shopping is completed and the bags are brought inside, which foods need to be put away first and why? We must ensure food safety handling. This means making sure that the food that is bought by the people we serve is put in storage in a timely manner and safely preventing foodborne illnesses. So things that need to go in the freezer or the refrigerator need to be put away first. And you all have taken the food safety, food handlers course, so you all know how to put foods away in a proper way, how to separate them, what kind of things to put them in, and labeling them. Uh, So, what's one tip you would use for yourself when it comes to, um, making positive changes for yourself? Are you going to work on your food groups, portion sizes, label reading, diabetes, making, shopping for diabetes if you have diabetes? What's a successful shopping trip involving supported individuals? So we've just completed chapter 8, nutrition and diet guidelines. Um, I hope you all learned something new today. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me at the check-in. Um, and I will see you there. All right. Bye.